The 1987 cult classic The Stepfather was definitely a pretty good film. Now let us revisit its sequel. Here it is. Make room for day, because here's a re-review of Stepfather 2. PT's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a re-review of the 1989 horror flick Stepfather 2, also known as Stepfather 2 Make Room for Day, released by ITC along with Millimeter Films, directed by Jeff Burr, written by John Auerbach, starring Terry O'Quinn reprising his role as the titular character. The film was released on November 3rd, 1989, but got dissed big time. It didn't quite come close to its predecessor since it only had a limited release. This is the second installment of the Stepfather films. Now, if you have not seen my re-review of the first film, I advise you to click on that card before going into this one. Okay, now let's get started. After surviving being shot and stabbed at the end of the previous film, Jerry Blake is institutionalized in Puget Sound, Washington. Blake has meetings with a psychiatrist. Having gained his trust, he kills the psychiatrist and a guard. He dons the guard's uniform to help him escape. Arriving at a train depot, Blake kills and robs a traveling salesman for his car and money. Blake checks into a hotel, alters his appearance, and assumes the identity of deceased publisher Gene F. Clifford and travels to Palm Meadows, Los Angeles. In Palm Meadows, Gene poses as a psychiatrist and soon meets Carol Grayland and leases a house across the street from her and her 13-year-old son Todd. During a session with the neighborhood wives, Gene learns that Carol's husband, Phil, left his family the previous year. Gene begins courting Carol, eventually winning over her and Tom. But Phil returns wanting to reconcile with his wife. Needing Phil out of the way, Gene persuades Carol to send him over for a meeting, during which Gene smashes a ball on his head, then stabs him to death. He covers up Phil's disappearance afterward by making it look like he simply ran off again. With Phil gone, Gene and Carol arrange to get married. Matty Cummins, not, let me start that. Matty Crimmins, local mail carrier and Carol's best friend, becomes suspicious of Gene and begins looking through Gene's mail. She finds a letter addressed to the real Gene Clifford, which includes a photograph revealing him to be African American. She confronts Gene, demanding to know who he really is. Gene persuades her to let him tell Carol the truth about his past. Later that night, after making love to Carol, Gene sneaks into May's house and strangles her to death, making her death look like a suicide. On his way out, Gene takes Matty's last bottle of wine and crosses through the yard of Matty's blind neighbor, Sam Watkins, who hears Gene whistling Camptown Races, which he mentions to Carol the next day. Now I'm going to the ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video at once. Go to the description box below. Fast forward to the time below. As I count down now, if you've seen this already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Despite May's death, the wedding proceeds as planned. While dressing in the church, Carol recognizes bottles of wine sent by May's parents as the same brand Gene had the other night, and overhears Todd whistling Camptown Races, which he says Gene taught him, thinking Gene may have had something to do with May's death. Carol confronts him, prompting Gene to attack Carol and Todd, whom he locks in a storage closet. As Gene prepares to kill Carol with a knife she used to stab him, Todd breaks out of the closet and saves his mother, knocking the knife out of Gene's hand and stabbing him in the chest with a claw hammer, apparently killing him. As Carol and Todd walk into the wedding ceremony, everyone is shocked to see them covered in blood until Carol collapses on the floor. The film ends with Gene getting up, stumbling through the room for the wedding party, and collapsing on the floor by the destroyed wedding cake, weakly uttering "till death," then seemingly dying from his own wounds. In the extended version of this, which unfortunately I've never seen, after Carol and Todd are sent to recoveries, the scene shows that they are finally living happier and confident without Gene as they enjoy playing together in the park in the story. So, what did I think of Stepfather 2? Well, I'm going to say I do like this film. While not quite as much as the first film, but it does have a few pretty good moments, though. Jim Manzine's score was pretty good. I do like the main theme and what have you. Like we hear on this and what, well, at the intro credits and at the end of the film. Yeah, now this was originally intended to be released direct to video, but the producers were impressed enough with the sequel that it was released into theaters. It was given a limited release theatrically by Millimeter Films. Unfortunately, it fell short of its predecessor, making 1.5 million domestically. The critics were really hard on this. The film has a mere 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. Variety stated this dull sequel reduces the intriguing premise of the original Stepfather to the level of an consequential tongue-in-cheek slasher film. The Washington Post wrote that the film was cliche-ridden and lacked the reality-rooted horror that made the original film effective, finishing his review by stating Stepfather 2 is just slick marketing trying to capitalize on selling art and failing badly at that. Well, I completely do understand, but I didn't hate the film. It does have some issues, though, but I still enjoyed it. Sure, it may not quite hold a candle to its predecessor, but at least Terry O'Quinn is one person who easily saved this film. As he returns to play the titular character of the Stepfather, he does an exceptionally good job. For the rest of the cast, we have playing Carol is Meg Foster. Well, most people would remember her from the mini-series version of The Scarlet Letter from 1979. Also, she was in Ticket to Heaven, The Osterman Weekend, and They Live. And she was the original Christine Cagney in the first season of TV's Cagney and Lacey. Next, playing Mattie is Caroline Williams, after she recently appeared in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. And then, of course, after this, she appeared in Leprechaun 3 and other horror films afterwards. Playing Todd is Jonathan Brandis, who unfortunately died real young and what have you, from what I'm seeing here. Yeah, because he died at the young age of 27 in 2003. Of course, after this, he had already appeared on ABC's hit soap One Life to Live. After Stepfather 2, he played Bill in the It miniseries and also appeared in the Never Ending Story 2, The Next Chapter. And then years later, he was cast in the role of teen prodigy Lucas Wolingzak on NBC's Sequest DSV. But unfortunately, in 2003, he died by suicide. Horrible way to die. Let's see. For the rest, I see Henry Brown plays Joseph Danvers, the doctor in the insane asylum. Mitchell Lawrence plays Phil. Not bad. And there's many others and what have you. So the cast is fairly okay and what have you. I mean, I really did like Caroline Williams' performance. But anyway, even so, it was still pretty good. However, this was shot in December of '87 over the course of less than a month, just 25 days. It was shot with the intention of releasing it direct to video, but after seeing the final cut, ITC canceled the home video release in hopes of securing it as a theatrical run. Now, apparently, according to director Jeff Burr, he stated that in addition to playing it more as a character-based thriller like the original rather than a horror film, he also tried to add some humor and satire, particularly in regards to Reaganism and mass media, particularly in regards to TV commercials and self-help gurus that promised easy answers and quick fixes. ITC later sold distribution rights to Miramax, who, of course, the infamous Weinsteins, just right before they were infamous. After a test screen, they complained about the lack of blood and demanded reshoots, but Burr refused. And director Doug Campbell was hired to do the reshoots. And in an interview, Burr commented they cut a little bit of the film out and they added some badly done blood effects. Badly done because Quinn refused to do it. Really, they were meaningless, so that was irritating. Well, I completely understand, but I did read that there was, well, let's see. They say there was a long one, but I don't know if there was. Anyway, it has been released on physical media, so I think you can get it for a reasonable price. Given the fact that the last release was years back in 2009, done by Synapse Films, which they did in order to promote the release of the remake in 2009. But if you can find it, no problem. Various streaming services have it just like its predecessor. You can find it on maybe Prime Video, Tubi, Peacock, just to name a few. So no problem in finding this film. With everything said, Stepfather 2 is an okay film. Not quite as big as its predecessor, but still, Terry O'Quinn manages to save it though. Now, 3 years later, there will be a direct sequel to this, but with a different person playing the Stepfather, and it premiered on HBO. And I've already reviewed it though, and I'm kind of satisfied with my review of it. If you do want me to re-review that one, maybe I will down the road, but I doubt I will. But anyway, would I recommend Stepfather 2? Well, I'd only recommend you give this a one-time watch, only if you are a hardcore completionist. Enough said. So, what did you think of Stepfather 2? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel. Make it grow, make the views grow. Tell all your friends about my channel. Get them to know me. Maybe they'd like to be a part of my Big D Nation. Share my vids with your friends if you'd like. That way my channel can keep growing. And next time, I'll be bringing to you the second part of my Filmation Archie series, Saturday Morning TV Log Revisited. So if you like this, check out my reviews for these other films. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of Stepfather 3. The upper right-hand corner is my review of the Stepfather remake from 2009. Or go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my review of the third sleepaway camp film, Teenage Wasteland, which came out the same year. In the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.